It's time to get your pulls. Going to the comic store. Time to get your pulls. Better get those bags and boards out. Better get those pulls at the
PottyHumor.com.
Yeah.
Coming to you live from the PottyHumor.com studios, it's Getchyapulls.
Getchyapulls. Yo, welcome to Get Your Pulls, number 62. Bat-Fleck, it's Muji.
It's Dan.
And Todd.
Believe it or not, he's
Yeah.
back. Holy shit.
Came back from the layers of Pultron to do another podcast with y'all guys. So let's do it.
You look like you've lost some weight. Is it keeping you fat?
It's possible. I've been working a lot. Yeah. Pretty hot at the old VW factory.
Which is owned by Pultron, obviously.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, so if your car develops a mind of its own and becomes sentient, you know why now.
That's right.
Heard it right here first on this podcast.
Evil AI might be involved. You never know.
Yeah. So leave us alone, Anonymous. But anyways, yeah, 62. We got stuff to talk about. There's really only one important thing to talk about. And it's Bat-Fleck.
Yeah, the news that officially broke the internet. You know, last week we talked about it. We talked about the Batman was in the news again. Alan Moore's Killing Joke ending, analyzed by Grant Morrison, and we thought that broke the internet. But we quickly learned we hadn't seen shit.
Something else out there in the waiting in the wings.
Of course, if you've listened to this show, then you definitely know that Ben Affleck has been cast as Batman for the foreseeable future. I know a bunch of people are like, oh, I hope it does. I hope he's gone. No, motherfuckers. He's Batman for the next 10 years, so get over it.
If you listen to this show, every dickhead with an opinion that I never even thought gave two fucking tinkers dams about comics previously has weighed in on their hatred of this from what I've seen online, and they can all suck a dick.
I mean, look, man, in my opinion, when I first read the news, I mean, I thought it was great. Now, I could see how people, there's a valid argument for, is he Batman, I mean, I don't know. No one that's ever been cast as Batman were people like, that's immediately the guy. Val Kilmer was probably the most, the guy that everyone could agree, he's a good casting. Yeah. And it wasn't really his fault that movie wasn't great.
Yeah,
but I mean, he also, he wasn't a knock it out of the park Batman. I mean, he got replaced in the next one. I mean, I think when Christian Bale got cast, the people who had seen American Psycho were like, that dude's a motherfucker. He's a great actor. That's awesome. And then the people who didn't know who he was, were like, I think this is the backlash that happens when you cast a really well-known person is, Brad Pitt's a great actor, Johnny Depp's a great actor, all these guys. Anyone that everybody knows, if they got cast, there would be a lot of hate for it. Yeah. Maybe not quite the Affleck-sized hate that we're getting right now, but you're going to get a good amount of haters for anyone that's famous. Because anyone successful, half the people hate them.
Right.
That's just how the world works, because they hate successful people. But a lot of people are mad at Affleck. I think it's great. I think that if you paint a picture of Bruce Wayne, he looks exactly like what you imagine Bruce Wayne looks like. Yeah. And acts that way. I mean, if you've seen Hollywoodland, where he played George Reeves, he was great. Not to mention also in that movie, he plays a character who, even though he's successful, is tormented by all the things that happened in his childhood, and he can't get over it. Which is a lot like Bruce Wayne. But in that movie, I mean, he looks the part. His last couple movies, the movies that I would count more towards how he's going to do, have been excellent.
He's done great.
And he's been great in them. He's been great. I mean, he's a huge turnaround comeback story in Hollywood. I think that a lot of people are reacting the way that you'd expected them to react 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Instead of this year. Like I said, I think he's perfect as Bruce Wayne. And then as Batman, I mean, I love Christian Bale's Batman, even though his voice broke. But has anyone ever been the Batman that you imagine from the comics, live action? No.
Anybody touches
How's
the
it happen?
bat, they could be the most famous, well-respected actor. They touch the bat, you're going to get some kind of backlash, no matter who it is, I think.
Yeah. And out of
Ben
all...
Affleck kind of maybe has that coming a little more just because, like, he's kind of like this doughy, kind of good-natured guy, I guess, in most of his other roles.
He's been such a body of work, over a couple of decades now, and it's like...
he's had all of his highs and lows. I mean, he started out Could Do No Wrong, and then he had a bunch of floppers, and he made the ultimate mistake of making a couple movies with his significant others, which is never as good. People automatically are like, I don't want to see you and your fucking wife or you and your fucking husband kissing on screen. That sucks. But, I mean, he's come back.
But, I mean, even in, like, Jersey Girl, he's still a competent actor. He's great. I like watching his movies. I can name, like, 6 or 7 movies that he's been in, and he's been really great in them.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, like, over, like, a lifetime, and you're thinking this dude is just, like, 40, 41 years old, and you think about that, you take away all the stinkers, it's the fact that everybody remembers those. They remember Daredevil didn't do well, even though I would argue, like, he wasn't a bad Daredevil. That movie just wasn't great. Even at the time, too. At the time, people weren't like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. It's gained this thing over the years as being this piece of shit. When, much like the first Fantastic Four, most people either liked it or just thought it wasn't very good. Now people talk about it like it's fucking Ghost Rider. Like it came out and it made $3 and people instantly were like, no. Like, it was a profitable movie that got so-so reviews. It wasn't one of the worst movies anybody's ever seen.
No, and and if you don't like the decision, fine. I got to admit, when I first heard it, I was like, not my first choice, but you know what? That's who they've cast.
Let's see where this goes.
He's our Batman for the foreseeable future. So, like in most scenarios, I try to look at the positives.
Yeah.
He has been in, like you mentioned, a shit ton of movies that I love. Not to mention that he is a very nerd-friendly actor. He's a fan of Batman. He's a fan of the source material. He's clearly...
He loves comics.
Yeah, clearly he's going to put all of his effort into this and doing it right. So, I say let's don't judge him on anything that he's done that you might have hated, especially if it was 10 years ago. You see that stupid comments like people, I guess Jay and Silent Bob are going to be Penguin and the Joker. And
2 things this week that...
Matt Damon's going to be Robin.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
That's one of my 2.
Matt Damon's going to stay as far away from this movie as he can.
They were in a movie together fucking 10 years ago.
Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob is the last movie they were both in together. That was a really long time ago. Yeah. That was like, what, 01?
Everybody knows
02? Yeah, it's been 11 years. And yeah, Matt Damon as Robin is number 2 thing that I got tired of hearing about the most. Other
doing
that
thing, Boston accent. People saying, "Oh, he's going to be Boston Man" or something. It's like
have you seen his
he's
last?
An actor.
Did you watch Argo? No Boston accent. Played a Jewish guy, sounded Jewish. Did you watch Hollywoodland? Sounded like Reeves. Like that's yeah. I mean, I think people. I mean, that's just it. I think there's lots of people that once they get painted as a certain way, everyone's going to remember them as that forever, no matter what they do. And also this idea that, like, I mean, he's going to do the Boston accent. Do you think these motherfuckers haven't screen tested him already? You think he hasn't physically been in a Batman suit and they haven't shot footage of him talking as Batman? This movie's going to cost them $250 million, and they're going to expect it to make $1 billion. They're not just going to be like, I think that's the guy, just show up to set first day.
They offered Christian Bale $50 million a picture and a piece of each movie, and then I guess they were just like, well, he said no. Fuck it, I guess we'll
call Ben Affleck. Call Ben Affleck.
Really?
Get Bennifer in here.
I mean, they had a lot of high level actors they were looking into, a lot of really famous people, and he's the one they chose. They obviously did a lot of research on it and thought that he was going to be great for it. Not to mention, it lends to the fact that he's rumored for the Justice League to direct, which, talk all the shit you want about him acting, but he's directed 3 movies and they've all been great. Yeah. If he directs the Justice League, that's great. That's a great choice for that. So if this is going to help him connect to that, then that's awesome too. So, I mean, I understand if some people are like, I don't know if it's going to be great. I think it's great. But
we'll still have a civil fucking discussion about
it.
That's the thing.
Nonetheless,
I hope he fucking dies of AIDS.
Nonetheless,
so he doesn't get to be Batman.
Yes. Also, people, did a petition on change.org and got 30,000 like signatures. A website that's on there to like try to like keep like people from being oppressed and to stop racism and sexism and keep the government from fucking you over. And you did a petition about Batman, which I saw almost immediately. There was an edit to it where the guy who did it must have taken enormous shit, because then he put a thing. He was like, this isn't supposed to like try to take the attention away from the current issues in Syria and the other things that are going on in the world. I'm just a fan of movies and I don't want Ben Affleck as Batman. That guy deserves all the shit he gets for trying to start a petition to not have... And do you think that anybody at Warner Brothers is going to be like, oh, they're not... Like, they know you're going to go see it. Everybody's going to go watch this movie. It's not going to affect the fucking dollars at all, no matter who they cast. It's going to make so much money. And when it's great... If it's great, be a fucking man and admit that it's awesome, and don't be like, well, I mean, it was good, but, if Affleck wasn't in it, because I know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, 50,000 people trying to get a petition going, or 30,000, or whatever fucking number you just threw out there, trying to get a petition going, but it's going to make $80 billion, and I guess the fucking tickets will have just been purchased out of fucking thin air.
Yeah, and...
Silly.
And out of people who like you would think that like would actually be smart on the subject, I mean, you got like Whedon, who obviously works for Marvel, is 100% Marvel, who was mad before that his Wonder Woman movie didn't get made, who obviously isn't just giving DC free publicity. He came out and said he thought Affleck was the perfect choice, and that if he was directing that movie, he would be thrilled that he's the guy that's going to play Batman. So take it from the people that know what they're doing. They all do. What's his name that wrote Star Trek? I can't remember. Not JJ, his writers.
Oh, David Lindelof.
David Lindelof thought Affleck was a great choice. Like the people who actually write these movies that you love and direct these movies that you love, they all seem to think it's a great choice. So we'll wait and see. I remember the last person people threw a hissy fit about was Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Right.
How did that, and Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, how did those work out? And I remember the last time everybody was pumped, said there's no way a Green Lantern movie won't be great with Ryan Reynolds in it. Wasn't necessarily his fault, wasn't awful, but that movie tanked. So the fanboys are not only not always right, but very often wrong. So we'll have to see in 2015.
And we all will, regardless.
And we all will twice, even if we think it sucks. So there you go.
I mean, this shitstorm has caused a bunch of people to be aware of the movie anyway, and it's gonna. Any kind of publicity is good publicity, so it's gonna make it even more money in the long run. I think
everybody's entitled to their opinion, but especially the people that are like, "Way to go, DC! You put Ben Affleck in this movie. Nobody's gonna go see it." Those people's opinions don't count on anything because they obviously don't know about how the world works. But out of that news, we'll be talking about that shit a bunch, obviously. We're going to run it to the ground between now and a year and a half from now. If this podcast exists. If I can say words still by then, as obviously I'm losing that ability. But we'll move on to some other news. Some sadder news in comics. We're really a theme song. I know I'm saying this on the air, but we need a cancellation theme.
I'll get to work on it.
This is a segment happening live on the air, and the people can hear it as we speak. We really need like an in memoriam for all the comics that get canceled every month.
Yes. We can make that happen.
Yes. Yeah. But this month we got a couple. We got Venom, which was formerly written by Remender, now it's Cullen Bunn. Is that correct? Has he been writing it? Which has got rave reviews. Everybody said it was great with Remender, and I think you read some of that.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic.
Since Cullen Bunn took over, everybody said it was still really good, but not getting the sales, so it is out the door. Then Captain Marvel hasn't been confirmed canceled, but Axel Alonso confirmed they're trying to repackage the book in a way that's going to get people to buy it, and there's no solicit for it in the 2 months after September, where a bunch of other things are solicited, so it seems as good as canceled as well.
Well, shit.
That sucks, because I really like Captain Marvel. I've enjoyed it quite a bit.
Carol Danvers be without a book again.
I know, and she seems like the perfect person to launch like a Marvel movie on her own as, a female lead. So it's a bummer, but what can you do? Better books that have been canceled, aka The Winter Soldier. So shit happens. Really good books get canceled. But you heard it here. We've been saying it's awesome the whole time. So when it comes back like Arrested Development, don't be fooled by all the
Oh, the bandwagon.
Yeah, it's all the band. Exactly. We thought the book was cool, but yeah, those are gone. But there's plenty of books coming, so there's plenty of new books to replace them. I mean, you got to think those are making way for Amazing X-Men, which is coming out, which looks great. Yeah. Which, I mean, who would have thought you would be like, oh, there's 6 X-Men books, this 7th one, we need it. But it seems like it's going to be great. So
yeah, I mean, they got
that's
good people
something.
On, good cast.
Yeah. And then, yeah. That's that. We saw Kick-Ass 2.
Yes.
See Kick-Ass 2?
No, not yet. I don't think I got to the theaters that much.
Well, did you read the comic?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not really spoilers. I mean, it's pretty much what happened in both the comic and in Hit Girl. I haven't read it, but they said like almost all the stuff with her in the high school and all that all came from the Hit Girl miniseries.
Yeah, I haven't read the mini yet. But...
Which, I mean, they are kind of completely different because, I mean, like, she doesn't have a mom in the movies and she has a mom in the books, so that's a big difference. But,
but
nonetheless,
really,
it's
they
close.
were pretty fucking faithful. I mean, it was pretty damn...
I mean, like 30%. I mean, that's...
Really? Was it that much? Because I read it, and I definitely remembered it being pretty similar.
I would consider it like The Walking Dead, where like if you overall go, they kind of go in that direction. But I mean, in the comic, there's some major differences. I mean, such as in the comic, Hit Girl has a mom that's alive that she lives with.
Yeah.
Hit Girl doesn't go to the same school as Kick-Ass. Really big difference.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one.
That's a huge difference. Yeah.
Like main story plot points though probably match up pretty good. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the main stuff does, but I'm also Red Mist's mom isn't even really the same character at all, and she's like, he doesn't fucking kill her like that, like, you know, the way that did in the movie, and she's also kind of like in charge, like she's actually like part of the family. There's some. Like I said, it's overall, I think, kind of the same. It's the same in that, like, they do some of the scenes are pretty close to the same, and that Hit Girl and Kick-Ass, you know, have kind of the same thing where they get back together as a team and they end up, you know, beating the bad guys and everything. But there's a lot of different shit. There's a lot of different motherfuckers that either die or live who in the thing don't die or live. Like, they have some opposite things. But it was really good.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yes,
I
it's changed.
fucking loved it.
I liked it. It wasn't as good as the first one. I don't think it was as good as the first one. Like, I don't think it's close, but I still thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, I could watch Hit Girl deal out one-liners and ass whippings all day.
She was pretty phenomenal,
man.
Yeah, she was fantastic in it, and as always, we talked about Chloe Grace Moretz before. She's a fantastic actress, so she's very likable, and her as Hit Girl is pretty perfect. She delivers the lines great. Yeah, I mean, she's great in the movie.
I haven't seen her be bad in anything that I've
Kick-Ass got jacked. That kid got jacked. You know
he's huge.
You know that dude? That dude's like 23. His wife is like 46, and they have 2 young kids.
Wow.
Crazy. I think she did the opposite. She pulled one for the women. She was a producer, saw this young kid that was like 20 and was like, I'm 44, fuck it. Happens all the time the opposite way, but she's the one that was like, this time it's going to be the opposite. I'm getting the hot young bod.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Which I guess at the time wasn't. He was like a skinny nerd, but now he's all jacked. So good for him. But movie was great. Highlight of our movie-going experiences would be that the Mrs. Dragon somehow didn't realize that Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey, and that was the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah, emphatically didn't.
Emphatically was like, no, that didn't look like Jim Carrey. And to me, it was like, A, I mean, whatever, but B, it totally like legitimizes like Superman and Robin's identities, because I'm like, he was wearing a Robin mask. Other than that, he looked like Jim Carrey and totally fooled somebody. Clark puts on glasses. You can't tell he's Superman. I guess so.
Well, he's doing the weird accent. I don't know. I can't.
I mean, he was doing a classic dumb. Yeah, he was doing a classic dumb Jim Carrey voice. Yeah, that's what he's been doing since we first encountered Jim Carrey. But yeah, I liked it a lot. All the action in it was great. It is one of those movies. I think the perfect description is if you really like the first Kick-Ass, you'll like this, equally or maybe a little less, whatever. If you didn't like the first one, I mean, you're gonna think this sucks because you got to kind of get like what they're going for, because it certainly is like,
It's a comic movie for comic nerds. It's not trying to reach really a broader audience, and unfortunately didn't appear to.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was really cheap, so it turned a profit. Like worldwide, I think they said it only cost like $25 million, and I think it made like a little bit of that after the 2 weeks.
So we might see a Kick-Ass 3?
We might see Kick-Ass 3.
Hell yes.
It's not a runaway.
That was always the plan.
Yeah, it's not a runaway like sensation, because I mean even the first Kick-Ass and the second I think were actually distributed by different people, so I think they've only got one picture deals as they go. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean it's turned profit, so due to the fact most movies don't turn profit actually. If you read up on the things, it's like something like 3/4 of movies either break even or worse. The fact that it's already turned profit, albeit a little bit, means it'll probably end up inking out like 15 or 20 million bucks. So if they can make another movie for 20, they're making a superhero movie for $20 million. I mean that's such a low budget that it's,
and still did a great job of it within the context of what they were trying to do. Like the budget wasn't at all necessary. It was fantastic.
Yeah, so you think it'll probably end up being, you'll probably end up getting to see the third one, which will be good because like I said, enjoyed it quite a bit. Like I said, all the stuff in it was good. All the one-liners were good. I mean, it really is. Like, I compared it, like, the first half. It's not another teen comic book movie. Like, that's the feel. Like, all the characters are just completely, like, written, like, as, classic. Like, they're not, like, trying to fool you. They're just your classic archetypes. Like, there's a mean girl who's, like, every mean girl in every movie, and she's saying cheesy stuff that you've heard in every movie. But that's just like the universe of Kick-Ass.
It just works.
Even when Hit Girl's like talking about beating people up, like she's, saying like or even she's like talking about some of that stuff, and then when McLovin, call him what you want, he's McLovin.
The motherfucker.
Yes.
It'll always be McLovin.
Yes, he's McLovin. When McLovin is like putting together his team and. John Leguizamo's telling him he's racist. He's like, I'm not racist. He's like, these are just classic ethnic architects. He's like this, he's like it's not racist at all. Archetypes, not architects. Classic architects. He's like, we've got a Chinese dude who's great. He's gonna laying the floor. We got a Russian woman. She's a roofer. They're classic ethnic architects. No, archetypes. Which is good, you almost have to say now that we live in this world of you're racist, you almost have to like explain it mid-movie. Hey, we're not being racist, we just think that like Russian people that are tough are cool. We don't think it's being stereotyped as being like someone that's strong and muscular is racist. You pussies who can't have any fun. That's what I would describe those lines as. What they actually said on the paper, then they just changed it to that. They actually said, you stupid assholes who, any joke you ever hear, you do as much research as possible to find out who the fuck that it might offend, and then you write a blog about it. Go kill yourself. They changed it to, these are classic ethnic archetypes. But anyways, liked it a lot. It was good. Hope they make a third one. And now... we must wait for Cap.
Yes. Thor. Don't short sell Thor.
Does Thor happen next or Cap?
Thor is next.
Thor is already had the poster and everything. So
I'm excited for Thor, but I'm waiting for Cap. Actually, I'm waiting for The Hobbit 2. Pumped for Thor, but very pumped for The Hobbit 2. Even though it's not comics, that is right within my nerd alley. It's actually even more so.
To be awesome, so it's like.
Yeah, it's all
kind of an X factor almost. I guess.
I think Thor, even though I'm actually like. I'm in a position where I'd be shocked if Thor wasn't better than the first one, which I like, but I didn't love as much as some people. I thought it was good, but it was probably the weakest of like those movies that came out all next to each other. I expect Thor to be better, and I expect Captain America. I'm trying not to, but I almost have Man of Steel hopes for it, where it's like, if I'm not completely blown away, I'll be a little disappointed because it just seems like it has the potential to be the best Marvel movie yet. I think it's got like everything there that like you would need to be the best one. But I also feel like Days of Futures Past, like it should be the best X-Men movie that's ever come out. So I think there's like a lot of movies with big expectations coming up soon. Yeah. And The Hobbit, just because of Peter Jackson's track record, you're like, it's either going to be good or it's going to blow you away. Like, you're not going to get out of there worse than just being like, this is exactly what I thought it would be. It's very good.
One thing's for sure, it'll be very fucking long.
Oh, no shit. No shit. And also, man,
Always.
I've forever, like, you know, it like, kind of, like, bums me out when people's joke on, like, why they don't like Lord of the Rings is all the walking. Because I'm just like, yeah, they show Sam and Frodo walking. Everybody else is doing something badass all the time.
Right.
You pieces of shit.
It's more subdued than that, yeah.
But I did find it hilarious, though, because I always like argue that when we saw the first trailer for the fucking second Hobbit, I was like, this seriously is like they're playing dramatic music, and all this trailer is them walking like they did it. They fucking did it. Like they're playing this epic music that you would expect fucking Rocky to be punching Apollo, and they're fucking walking and looking. It was hilarious, but
they don't give away all the good stuff yet.
Yeah, but that's it for that. We're going back this week?
Yeah, I got a couple of Back to the Longbox issues, one shorter than the other.
Fucking Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes, it's a...
Interested?
Yeah, this is a very interesting book. I thought you guys might be excited to hear about here. It's a indie book called My Friend Dahmer. It's by Durf. I don't know his first name.
By Durf?
Durf, yeah.
My friend Dahmer by Durf.
Maybe this is his last name, but he just goes by Durf. He's an indie comic guy, and apparently in high school he was friends with Jeffrey Dahmer, and that's...
God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge, like, long introduction about why he wrote it, and just trying to...
For money?
Sure, well, no, it's... Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably a little bit money. He says not for the money. Mostly the reason was just it's these stories he felt he had to get out there just because, I mean, people would, of course, be interested in it because it's Dahmer. But it just, it's kind of haunted him, I guess, for this whole time period. So he put pen to paper and went to town. And it's about all of his interactions with Dahmer in high school. And fucking, it's a really disturbing comic. Like, it's not, they don't really touch on, like, a lot of the stuff, like his horrible crimes that he commits later. This is when he's in high school. He's... of course, socially kind of awkward, detached young man.
As you would expect.
Yeah, of course. And, like, really his entryway into this group of friends is he makes this really bizarre impersonation of this interior designer of his mother's that had cerebral palsy. And he does this really offensive, like impersonation of her, and like he gets all this positive attention from people. They think he's just fucking around, and they think he's funny. So I mean, it gets him kind of a friendship with Durf and the rest of his friends.
Him and Durf.
Yeah, and it's
Durf and Dahmer.
It's really shocking stuff. Like, I mean, there's
a CBS in hell, there's a buddy comedy about Durf and Doms.
Yeah, truly. I mean, you could totally turn this into like a miniseries or something, and it's really weird to read. It's like
is it just a one shot?
Well, I think it was intended to be just a one shot, but I did some research on it. I found a trade paperback on Amazon. I think later he got such a positive reaction from this one issue that he went back and told a little more of, like, you know, stuff that they had done together and here and there. But like clearly the signs were there. He was a disturbed individual. When he was at school, he would like slam a 6-pack in the parking lot, 15 years old, and just numb himself to walk into this high school, and he just flew under the radar. Nobody gave a shit about him, and it's really chilling to read, and it's like a kind of a classic indie style. It's very cartoony looking, but like the subject matter and just what they talk about is just it's a really compelling read. There's no ads. It's an indie book, and it's just cover to cover great story. It even takes up the front and back of the back cover. Like, it goes all the way to the end.
Nice.
It's a really good read, man, and it's unlike any other comic I've read. It's nonfiction. It's
a real creepster.
Yeah, it really is. And kind of lighten the mood, I found this at McKay's the other day. This one has...
Was it only $1 or less?
It was just $1.
See, McKay's is jacked up toward they got some $2 issues in there.
Damn, that must have happened after I went. because I didn't see any $2.
That's some bullshit. You know,
I guess they're realizing what they got because I mean this is in pretty damn good condition.
In classic McKay's fashion, they kind of, but then there's random books that should be $0.25 that are $2, and then they've marked down to 75 cents. Some like Uncanny X-Men's from the '80s. So what are they doing?
They had this Spider-Man that came with toothpaste that I have a copy of. It
with the toothpaste,
like a 40-cent copy. It was like a 40-cent price tag. They had that damn thing marked up to $5. It was a promo. Promos don't sell for shit.
That's pretty messed up, dude. They thought they had something crazy there, yeah. Well, this has very much significance for me in my childhood. It's Ghost Rider number 18. Seems like just another Ghost Rider issue. It has probably the best Ghost Rider cover ever. It's like a painted cover of just Ghost Rider's portrait or whatever. It looks bad as fuck. And this is surprisingly another Howard Mackie issue. I think I've done at least 3 of these on Back to the Long Box of Howard Mackie. That Spirits of Vengeance last time. I think the first one was
Bendis is going to be pissed
Peter.
off.
Yeah,
Howard Mackie's getting in on his shit.
I think I'm starting to have a Mackie bias. I could go on and on about some of his books. Art by Mark Texier. Of course, he was the big Ghost Rider artist at the time. And man, his shit, I'd like to see him on a horror comic because this shit is like gruesome looking. This is just, I mean, it's got the Comics Code Authority on it. I bought this when I was like 9. And that's why this holds so much value to me, because this is the comic my mom threw away.
Oh no!
She picked it up, and you turn to the first page, you see Ghost Rider's face melting back on, and there's a sequence later where it melts back off. But it's like really violent. And the main villain is the second incarnation of the Sin Eater. And this incarnation, he actually eats fuckers and brings people back to life by using their energy. And his goal in this issue is to eat Daniel Ketch's mother to bring his deceased sister back. She looks at this, it's just, I've got to picture my mom picking this book up and leafing through it. And I mean, she's very religious. Like growing up, had a Christian background or whatever, and she's got to think this is the devil itself. This is a 1992 Ghost Rider issue, and I was so happy to see it, man. That's just blast from the past there. So if you can find
Blaspheme from the past.
Blaspheme from the past. Yes, the satanic issue of Ghost Rider. Buy it for your kid today. He will thank you for it.
Nice.
Just because that happened, I think that made it so much cooler. Like, you gotta really watch out with censoring what your kids watch. I mean, of course, you gotta know what they're looking at. But at the same time, some of that stuff, they're gonna build it up in their imagination as the coolest shit ever. Did
you walk into your house when you bought that, and walk straight up to your mom and put it in her face and go, "Childhood reclaim"?
No, I haven't yet, but I will definitely present this to her. And it's like, "Hey, Mom, do you remember this?" No, you don't. Well, I do. You know why? Because you threw it away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you feel like this beer in my hand? It's your fault. It's all from that comic.
Oh, no.
Well, cool. You got one?
Yeah, that's it for me.
No, I had no Back to the Long Box.
Me neither, so it's pull time.
Yeah, it's good ahead, too.
That's fine. No, I knew Todd had a lot of back stock to catch up on, so I kept my content minimal.
It's cool. I'm reading. I have a nice retrospective on some Grant Morrison Justice League in the coming couple weeks, because I'm working on those, so... That's something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I read those Cap omnibuses, but you also read them and probably already talked about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff like that. Like, I wanted to come in and talk about the Hickman Fantastic Four, which was fucking great.
Yeah.
But it's like you guys are already very familiar with it.
There's an omnibus of that coming out.
I didn't want to bore you.
There's a Hickman Fantastic Four omnibus coming out in 2 months, also
really?
for $50. Get the whole run.
I was surprised at how buff they made Reed Richards, like the Dale Inglesham or whatever.
He's a silver fox, man.
Yeah, he's stacked out. I don't know if he's using his powers to make him look more muscular.
That could be it. Maybe he's like talking to his cells and he's like, reproduce.
I just thought that was an
add teen. Let's see. I got missing some of my pulls like a dumbass, but I got Daredevil 31 at the house. I think it's 31. Pretty positive it's 31. I mean, not much to say. I mean, it's just great. Like, every month it seems like it's better. Like, it's literally almost always seems better. It was really awesome. Silver Surfer makes an appearance this month. A rare Silver Surfer. Hasn't been around in anything in a while.
No, he's been...
That's just one of those characters you want to see come back all the time.
You almost think that maybe he's just there because all the cosmic shit's happening. he's going to get introduced, so maybe they're like, hey, Mark Waid, just give a little taste. Just throw him in a story so people remember the fuck he exists.
Yeah.
So he shows up. I mean, the basic story is there's a guy that's like an artificial intelligence whose power is that, I can't tell his name because it's not in front of me, but his power is basically that he makes you believe whatever, you want. And he'll tell you things that are personal to you to like try to get what you want, but you don't know if he's telling the truth or not. Is basically his gimmick. And he's a huge cosmic villain and crook. So Silver Surfer's after him because he's trying to take him back to prison, whatever type of prison Silver Surfer takes you to. That's where he's after him. The guy's a cosmic vigilante, so of course he has to talk Daredevil into it. And the guy has powers that makes it where Silver Surfer can't really see him because he's not really like a person. He's just like an energy, but Daredevil, of course, can see him. So Daredevil basically has to hold him down while Silver Surfer kicks his ass, and then that happens. And then you also get to see the former Daredevil's former love interest that was, I believe,
Which one?
I believe the girl that worked at the DA's office. Okay. She had to quit the DA's office. And old Foggy's out of commission, so Foggy hired her to take his spot at the place. So now Murdoch's gotta work with his most recent love interest. So, of course, zaniness ensues. But it was really good. And some shit happened in it that was quite touching near the end, or quite sad. So, I won't spoil it. People can read it, but it's great. I've also got newest issue Revival. It's moving on steadily. It's awesome. Good old Lieutenant Dana Cypress goes out on a date.
Lieutenant Dana.
Yes. I hadn't thought of that, but that's very true. She may not even be a lieutenant, but now I'm going to think of her as that forever because of that. She's a cop. But yeah, that happens, and then she goes on a date, and a bunch of funny stuff happens, and then there's just a bunch of people that have been revived that are acting all weird, and it was good. Onto my next issues. Indestructible Hulk, which is now titled Agent of Time.
Oh.
Instead of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agent of Time.
Number 12. This apparently is part of the Age of Ultron aftermath.
Oh, they're still
I didn't mean to
the banner.
I didn't mean to buy these tie-ins, but I did. But anyways,
I've
came in my book.
On the Age of Ultron. That's what.
But
I mentioned there will be a lot of that.
Hulk and Banner, who have been separated. Banner is inside of basically like a little mini robot, and Hulk is just the Hulk.
Yeah.
Are in the Old West, and in the Old West, Hulk beats up a dinosaur. That's all I have to say about it.
That's it.
That's all you need to know. Batman 66, number deuce. Excellent again, gotta say. This comic is really like, I never all of a sudden just thought Batman 66 sucked or hated it, but it's really brought back my love for it. It really made me like, kind of remember why I liked it so much as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great. It's so perfect. Jeff Parker gets the voice so perfect of like all the characters on here. They sound exactly the way they're on the show.
You hear Adam West talking in your head.
Exactly.
It's pure comic joy. You don't just hear Adam West.
You hear everybody.
Chief O'Hara, Commissioner Gordon. You hear the bumper guy in between that says, what perilous plight have our heroes gotten into this week?
Yes.
That guy is there.
I think it's because,
Batman,
get
out of the Shark Tank.
We're getting the
Robin.
I'm buying I'm buying the printed edition, but it's digital, so this is actually 4 issues into one. So at the end of every issue, they do have it. As you see right here, you see the Cape Crusader Popsicle, Prisoner of Penguinia. So that's that's the thing. It's great. It's great. It's like that on every one of the bumpers. It's fantastic. They got the voices perfect. It's so enjoyable. It's so much different. I love all my Batman comics. I wouldn't trade Scott Snyder's Batman for anything.
Oh yeah, you gotta have that.
But this is so the opposite and just so enjoyable. I like my comics, and lots of times I smile because I'm like, that was badass, but this generally puts a grin on your face from beginning to end.
Yeah, it really is like
that old time feeling.
Fun, nostalgic, silly comic joy.
Also, not to mention a penguin calls somebody a bum. Little
Mickey reference.
So that's awesome.
That's pretty neat.
So it's great. I would recommend anybody to grab Batman 66. It's a very, very wonderful read. You also get to see Sub-Zero.
What?
Whoa!
Yeah, that would have broken the internet. Actually, I mean,
really.
Mr. Freeze. I was reading the cover, and it says I was reading the cover, and it says it's Sub-Zero for our heroes. The Penguin teams up with Mr. Freeze. Yes, but yeah, yes, it's awesome, and Mr. Freeze is in it, and he's obviously the TV version of Mr. Freeze, so you can't understand what he's saying, and he's hilarious, so it's great. And then Superman Unchained #3.
You actually picked this one up. I'm getting back in the swing of things.
You got this one.
It was very satisfying.
I liked it a lot, yeah. It's really crazy. I mean, part of me is like, oh, in the New 52, there's been a fucking more Superman living there for years, and he's more powerful than Superman, and
working in the shadows.
He's working for
where he's at.
He's working for fucking General Lane.
This is fucking Zod.
I mean, he's not. It's not gonna turn out to be Zod.
No.
I haven't thought about that. But nah,
I mean,
not.
because you can see him. I mean, he's not like wearing a crazy.
He definitely has a distinct look. Like he doesn't.
Yeah, look. I
anything
mean, he
Zod
looks like Darkseid-ish a little bit. I mean, he doesn't look like Zod. I mean, he's just a big beast. Which the only thing I thought they pulled the trigger a little bit too much on here. Like Superman meets him. You know, Superman tries to kick his ass, figures out he can't because he's been here since like the 40s. So he's been, I think Snyder once again, he kind of played into almost like they didn't go directly there, but it almost played into like Roswell without saying Roswell. And kind of implying that what happened was this guy showed up, that he crash landed and that he's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Without giving you too many details, you know, but kind of playing off that. And so he's been here, so he's way stronger than Superman because he's been getting the power of the sun for 70 years.
He's also a Kryptonian.
He hasn't said he's Kryptonian.
Yeah,
he's just
somewhere else.
From somewhere else, and he at least that's what
stronger than
they can always
stronger
than
Superman.
They can always pull the wool, and you can find out something else is going on. But he says he's from somewhere else. He's stronger than Superman. He wants to work with him, but then before the issue's even over, he's like, I've always wanted to work with you. Too bad I'm gonna have to kill you. Then it's over. So he apparently is gonna quickly turn on him. So who knows why? Who knows what? But yeah, it's just another really strong dude that's wearing a hoodie. Yeah. He kind of looks like Darkseid and Beast if they had a baby.
The hood. I like the hood.
Everybody wears a hood now. That's the thing. They're like that guy. They're like Green Arrow.
Rogue.
He kind of looks dumb. Let's give him a hood. Rogue. Actually, Green Arrow was like, let's make it a leather hood. Like Rogue, kind of dumb. Hood. Like Arkham. Let's make Arkham Asylum. What are Robin and Nightwing and all these guys? They look cool, but what would be cooler? Hood. Yeah, hood. Everybody gets a hood. So, and then it always works. Yes.
In most cases, it does look pretty badass.
This guy does, once he puts his hood on and gets into his outfit for leaving, he does look pretty badass. I really like it. I really love the way that Snyder writes Lois Lane. Like, she's really badass. Yeah. Like, it's the Lois that you like, the fucking go-getter. I mean, she's really like the original, like, hero for women in comics. I mean, she got lost in the shuffle and has been different, but I mean, from the first time of her existence, I mean, she's always been, like the strong woman that you would like want to be like. But Snyder writes are great. She's awesome. She's piloting a plane in this, and that's pretty cool. So I'm interested to see where it's going. This issue was really good, and you got her doing her own thing. You got fucking Luthor popping up.
Yeah, I like the mech suit Luthor, and he's still kind of like passed out or whatever from that gas they hit him with. And he's got the screen up over his head where he's still talking. It's like a pre-recorded thing he's done, but he's still like out of it or whatever. He just looks like a corpse almost getting dragged around by this mech suit. I really thought that was neat.
But you got a whole lot going on, so it's pretty awesome. But yeah, that's it.
Nice. Well, I guess moving on to me. Is that what we're gonna do?
That's the way things work. I guess you forget when you're not here for 9 months.
I haven't been here for so long. And, of course, I am catching up. I'll run through these pretty fast because I have 4 fucking issues of Superior Spider-Man.
Sweet,
which you guys have been missing out on.
Yeah. I have to borrow that shit.
I got to fill the void.
I sold my first 12 issues for $50. I would have taken 30.
That's pretty good.
I sold the digital codes for 15, so I got $65 out of those. So, fuck you, slut.
Touching real quick on number 13, this is the end of the scripted Christos Gage issues about the Spider Slayer, and I think this is probably my favorite artist on the series. The very Italian name Giuseppe Camuncoli, but I dig the way he draws a little bit more than say like Ramos or the other guy, like Stegman. But this kind of wraps it up. He has the Scorpion and Vulture and Boomerang, who've previously been kind of handicapped by Spider-Man kicking the shit out of them. And they're busting up through all this shit. And Lizard gets released, and it's a kind of badass new look to the Lizard. He kind of looks like sinewy muscle. Like, just, it looks like he doesn't have any skin almost. He's just green. But he's fighting for the right. He's a good guy in this. But the main thing that happens here is fucking Superior Spider-Man rips off one of the Spider Slayer's tendrils and stabs him in the heart and kills him at the very end.
Shit.
Yeah, so he's starting to rack up a body count here, and it's only a matter of time before some shit really happens. I mean, it is very silly that, you know, the whole...
Nobody's
stopping him. I know they're saving it for... There's probably going to be a big fucking event that'll span through the whole Marvel universe.
Miles Morales is going to stop him and take over as Spider-Man.
That would be cool. Yeah, that'd be welcome here. I mean, I don't want to see him take over, but I'd like to see him come over.
He can take over for a minute.
For a brief time.
That's why I picked up a first appearance Miles Morales for $2 at Comic Con.
Oh, nice.
Because nobody's started buying those up yet.
That's messed up. Yeah, I'd get that shit.
Because
it's a big Ultimate Spider-Man.
It's not like they've announced a movie, so they're not like... People aren't up on it, so... But when that happens, you know those things are going to shoot up. Grab any of those I could find for $3.
Well, issue 14 picks up... the Raft has been completely decommissioned, and Spider-Man has kind of blackmailed Jameson into giving him the Raft. Somehow, he's like the mayor of New York... So somehow he finagles it where that is the new Spider Island. He's taken it over, and he's hired a bunch of minions, built these giant-ass arachnobots, and he's really trying to get some shit done here. He's hired a bunch of hired guns that he has dubbed the Arachnauts.
That's what you do to hired guns.
And yeah, he goes straight for the Shadowland, which is from the very tail end of Amazing Spider-Man. Kingpin and Phil Urich Hobgoblin are holed up in there, and he busts the shit out. And they preview the new Spider-Man outfit, which is pretty fucking badass. It's a takeoff of a design Alex Ross did, kind of for the original Spider-Man movie, like the Sam Raimi one. I don't know if it was used in production, but like this was taken from his design. It was the black and red, which, I mean, that's kind of what they were already going with Superior's look. But now he has more of his own look, which is cool. He's got these kind of gauntlets on his wrists.
I'm glad nobody took me up on my fucking bet that it wasn't going to last more than 12 issues. Cause I owe somebody $5.
Out of the water now. You do. But yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff here. He goes to the Shadowland and kicks everybody's ass. And Ramos, I used to hate Ramos's artwork, but his work on Superior has kind of turned me around on it. Oh, another feature of the new Spider costume, he's kind of brought back the Iron Spider tendrils or whatever. Now he's got 4 of them, and they're just red, and they come out of this backpack on his back. And he fucks some shit up on the reg with that. So he's definitely getting his own look. I think that was kind of the main problem with... Peter. Yeah, they're going to bring back.
Bring back Peter.
But long story short, the next 2 issues, he's the kick-ass new Hobgoblin, which I really enjoy. Like, instead of just making him look like the Green Goblin, but orange, like the regular Hobgoblin, he has, like, bat wings. He's more of, like, a fantasy character. He's got a big flaming sword. Well, Spider-Man, he's got these nanobot spider tracers that he, like, can implant, like, subdermally if he scratches you. So he claws him and, like, traces him back to the Bugle, and he finds out that it's Ben Urich's nephew, Phil Urich, who is the Hobgoblin, and he uses that to take him down and rein him in. And he's got Carly, of course, still on his trail, and
it's taking her a while.
The police commissioner Watanabe or whatever, she's got like a alias now that is the Wraith. Surprisingly enough, like
so many
just
wraiths.
Like there's wraiths everywhere. You got the Spider-Man Wraith and the Superman Wraith.
And then you
got Superman Wraith is way better. Things are definitely progressing there. They can't not go more than, like, say 5 issues at this point without somebody coming in and be like, "What the fuck are you doing, Spider-Man?" I mean, I've got my gripes with it.
Getting crazy.
It seems like at this point the Punisher just walks 5 blocks and just shoots him, and it's over.
The Punisher can't take him down, dude. He's already been established as this uber badass. Like, he's way more effective than he was as Doc Ock. Punisher would get just flattened by this guy. It's gonna take. What I'd like to see is the Fantastic Four come in. Like, maybe that's what they come back to Earth for. To take him down, like the Avengers seem to not give a shit, even though he's in
Or Miles Morales takes him down.
Say what you want about Dan Slott. I don't like his writing per se, but I think he's a great idea man, and he's done a lot of cool things with Superior Spider-Man, whereas the writing may have been kind of weak. The stuff that's actually happening in the book is kind of cool, and I'm still going to pick it up. I enjoy it.
I dropped it. I was happy to get any money for my issues. That's my opinion.
You did get quite a good haul there, so I respect it, but I'm still sticking with it.
Hey, I mean, I gotta admit, I'm glad you are, because I was sad that he dropped it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I still wasn't, like, loving it each issue, but I just, like, I was still wanting to read it and find out what happened.
That's the thing. Normally, if I hate the writing on a book, I'll drop it, but, like, it's really hard to say. The artwork is really fucking good.
It's hard to not have that universe in your life.
Yeah, I can't drop
that you've been
Spidey.
following for the last several years. There's
other Spidey books, but this is the Spidey book right now. So
I mean, they all have Doc Ock as Spider-Man, so it's not like you could drop this one and then get what you want.
So
right.
As depressing as it is that Peter's not back yet, you know he's coming back. So
I know. Hopefully sooner rather than later, at least from me. Yeah. But on the Dan's
I'm pretty sure it's going to be later. At least, I mean, maybe that inhumanity thing might bring him back. Because I think I saw like one of the production artwork from it. It had the classic Spider-Man suit. Who knows what that's going to do? So
what that means, if anything.
Probably doesn't mean anything.
But that's cool. I only had 3 titles this week. I'll make up for it this upcoming week when I've got about 8 fucking million. But I've also got a Dragon Con, so probably be a late podcast going up. I'd probably go up around the same time. We'll just get together like Monday night on Memorial Day and film it, or Labor Day. Yeah, fucking Labor Day. That's it.
I'll definitely be off.
So, going to be a Dragon Con this weekend, first of all. Really looking forward to that. I'm going to at least attend, I know, comic-related DC Legends panel with Neil Adams and Jim Starlin.
Shit, really?
Well, that's pretty sweet.
Holy crap, that's badass.
That's going to be...
I was just, like, floored by it. I couldn't help it. That's going to be Neil Adams.
That's going to be quite interesting, because Jim Starlin... I think he just got booted off Stormwatch. I don't know if he works for him anymore. So
he was like,
we're going to get to find out some shit.
Yeah,
what the fuck's going on?
Mark Bagley's going to be there also.
What, sir?
Yes, sir.
Damn it. If you get in his line, I might have some books to get signed.
Well, we'll talk about it off the air.
No, we talk about it now. Just seriously.
But, so yeah, a lot of cool comics. I like Dragon Con's my vacation, so honestly, I should go there to work, but I work my fucking ass off all the other days of the year, so I'm going to get drunk. And if I happen to, like, which is possible, run into someone relevant to get your pulls in the hotel bar, stranger things have happened. Certainly, you know, like Michael Rosenbaum was down singing karaoke in the bar one night. I mean, like, fucking, you never know what's gonna happen.
We could at least run audio of that.
Yeah.
Here's Mike Rosenbaum singing his hits.
Yeah, so it'll be audio of him going, I fucked up. Should have stayed on Smallville. Haven't seen me in anything. I fucked up.
Is that a Lady Gaga song?
Yes.
But so, you know, if that so happens, it will. The whole cast of fucking Arrow is going to be there also. Yeah, like everybody on that show will be there.
That's
so
badass.
If I happen to stumble across it, get some video or audio footage at, of course, the pottyhumor.com network. We'll have first access to it. If I don't, then sorry, you should have been there.
Should have been, could have been.
In any event, on to the pools. Infinity tie-in number 1, Avengers number 18. And, gotta say, love Jonathan Hickman, but I've not been real crazy about this Avengers. It hasn't been bad. I like the individual issues where they focused on the origin of some of the specific characters, but really 17 issues to tell me that we needed more Avengers was really not the ultimate overall plot I was looking for, especially when you look at like Hickman's Fantastic Four and the threads that he carries over in those arcing stories. But still, I mean, it's all a build up to Infinity, and now we're here. So you kind of see the Avengers side of it. In Infinity #1, you found out, they're going into space to try and take out the Builders, who are coming to wipe Earth off of the face of fucking existence. And you see really in this issue what the Builders have. The Avengers team up with the other races who have blamed Earth already for fucking everything up. Yeah. But they say, what, we're the bigger guys, we're going to team with these guys.
Earth is America.
And then...
Yeah, it is.
Well...
In the Marvel Universe, it is.
The Builders uncloak their fleet. So you see hundreds of thousands of ships that they have, and then they uncloak them, and there's about 10 times that.
It's
so
like that scene in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. It's a trap! It was. It was definitely, it's a trap.
Damn.
Definitely. So they all just get fucking obliterated, and then the last scene you see is the fucking Avengers ship floating upside down with no power, so...
Oh, no.
Fucking not a good scene.
It goes from Return of the Jedi to Back to the Future Part 2.
So Hickman's doing Avengers and the other Avengers right now?
Avengers and New Avengers.
Is anybody reading New
Infinity.
Avengers?
I've read the first arc and it was fantastic.
I heard New Avengers is the superior of the two right now.
So I wanted to read it just because Panther was in it, but
yeah, I wish I would have got it over regular Avengers, but I'm so far in now.
Well, there's the trades,
Yeah, I'll probably get the trades, but what I read of it was really great. But anyway, on to DC. 2 pulls. We'll start with the Trinity War out of Justice League Dark #23. Written by Jeff Lemire, art by Michael Janin. And this issue, we play hot potato with Pandora's box. That's what she said.
Tater slipping.
Shazam gets a hold of it, and his outfit becomes like Black Adam, and he gets a third eye, and Wonder Woman gets a hold of it. And they pass it around, and eventually Constantine gets a hold of it, and it don't do shit to him, and he says, well, you can't soil a pot that's already filthy, love. And so, well, that's all we really find out about that. Not a lot goes on. The heroes just fight and whip each other's ass and fight over this box, and we go to find out in the last issue what's going to happen in the Trinity War. We don't know. But it's still keeping my interest, so I'm happy, man.
Yeah, I don't know because I've avoided it like the plague. But apparently they solicited what's going to happen. I'm trying not to see it.
I'm sure they did.
As comics, and they're no secret-keeping motherfucking brotherhood.
That's true, man.
They fucking always. Well, here we go. Pick of the week. Right before we exit the broadcast here. Animal Man #23 by Jeff Lemire. Art by Steve Pugh. We last found out that this cult of strange fuckers who want to be tied to the Red and Animal Man's animal powers have been harvesting animal body parts and surgically adding them to themselves, and we find out that they're led by Brother Blood.
Oh, dang.
Who's made his,
another classic name.
Let's say, yeah.
His
Brother
New 52
Blood.
debut.
Brother Blood.
And in the meantime, Maxine is taking this imaginary, because she's got such power within the Red, she created a crew of animal pirates to lead her to try to find her brother's soul as it entered the plane of new souls before it was reincarnated into another animal or a flower or what the fuck ever. In the meantime, Animal Man's tracking down the cult of Blood. Well, they get a sample of his blood. Brother Blood takes it. Come to find out, he's got a mysterious connection to the Red, too. So when he drinks Animal Man's blood, he fucking shows up where Maxine is and kills all the fucking animal pirates.
Damn.
And, many of the major Red totems and shit. He just fucks them all up. It really, altering huge right before we go into Villains Month. Just changing the status quo entirely in Animal Man. In one issue... It was fucking awesome, as that book usually is. Yeah, it was
I'm a big fan of it.
Total shocker that fucking Brother Blood came into the Red and fucking killed everybody.
Nice.
Well, that's awesome. Well, what you guys got next week? You got good pulls?
I got everything under the sun next week.
I'm not sure, but
doubt it.
I'm still trying to catch up, so I'll probably have 4 issues of whatever. week comes out. Maybe something.
I fucking don't remember at all what's coming out next week, but I'm sure I'll have comics. I think I remember counting 4 or 5 books. So
I got like 8. Like,
whatever they are, they'll be cool.
Tons.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well then, until then, just get your pulls.